So, how are you guys doing today, man? Hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, morning, or whenever you're watching this video. If you're new, please be sure to leave a like and please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. Now, today, we'll be going over the topic of Playboy Carti. Playboy Carti is really polarizing, really trending, and music right now with his upcoming third studio album, second, I think I'm pretty sure second studio album with Whole Lot of Red. His previous works were very good, as I've stated in previous videos. More notably, my IMMA reaction. I stated that I really enjoyed self-titled. I really enjoyed Die Lit. And it's crazy to me because with Playboy Carti, um, earlier on, I did not care for his music. I thought he was garbage. I thought he was trash. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he was trash all around. The beats were always crazy. The beats were always crazy. Pierre was going crazy. Pierre was going crazy. You know? I mean, I enjoyed Magnolia. I always thought Magnolia was a really good track, you know? But overall, I just didn't care for him. I did not care for him. And it was because he would, I'm not really used to artists just saying the same exact thing over and over in a track. But I realized that he served his purpose. He serves his purpose, which is, really, I finally understood that. Now, I finally understood not to take his music so serious. I finally understood not to take it so serious. I understood that him as an artist does the least but gets the most out of a track. All his production suits him perfectly. The way he's on the beat, he doesn't try too hard. Really, if you're a rising artist, don't try hard. You'll make it. Simple. But Dial-It was a very good project. Self-Titled was another good project. Dial-It really got me into Playboy, and then I went back into his discography, and I actually enjoyed a lot of the tracks. A lot, a lot of the tracks. I enjoyed the track with Bryson Tiller. I enjoyed some other tracks, but recently, Playboy has been putting out some really, really good features. Prior to Pain 1993, he's been putting out some pretty good features. The song he had with Solange, very good track. The song he had with Tyler the Creator, Earthquake, which was one of the biggest songs of 2019. The song he had with Trippie Redd before Trippie took it off his album was another really, really, really standout track. I think on that track, he was able to ride the beat and become one with the beat, which a lot of artists don't do. A lot of artists are just on the instrumental and it doesn't suit them perfectly. Whereas for him, more spacier and vibier beats, more atmospheric beats, just suit him extremely well. It suits his voice perfectly. And yeah, I mean, those tracks were very good. But as of recent, with his At Me release, I just didn't care for it. I thought the beat was very good, but it just didn't really hit for me. The voice didn't really hit for me personally. I honestly think that it just didn't hit personally. Pain 1993, that's another track. You guys know how I felt about that verse. I thought the song was pretty good. I thought Drake did his thing on that. I thought he did his thing. I thought he carried. Whereas Playboy, it's a beat suited for him. So I would assume that he would have did a lot better than what he did. But I don't have to keep saying it. You guys can go back and look at that video, that reaction. To me, I think that was, I think how I reacted to that song, I think that's how all of y'all, or the majority of people, all over the world reacted to that song. Now, granted, it could grow on us, it could grow on me, like what you like, but me personally, I just didn't care for that song. Overall, I think that he messed the song up, personally. But ahead of this release, Whole Lot of Red, which is one of the most anticipated albums that I can remember in recent memory. I think the only other albums that have been this anticipated, that had this much hype, would have probably been the Carter 5 from Lil Wayne, Eternal Take from Lil Uzi Vert, which he dropped earlier this year. He dropped that, and then he dropped the deluxe, which was Lil Uzi Vert versus The World, which was a pretty good body of work. I think Eternal Take was a very good body of work, arguably his best works. A lot more experimental, but not necessarily cutting edge, but he delivered a lot of tracks. I think he delivered 32 tracks roughly, the Carter 5, although it wasn't as good as what a lot of people thought. That could just be attributed to the fact that he just could not drop it. He couldn't drop it. And a lot of those songs did sound dated. A lot of them sounded old. But with Whole Lot of Red, this rollout has been extremely weird. It's been extremely weird. Now, I mean, it's been extremely weird. Like, this has probably been the weirdest rollout I've ever seen. Because a lot of artists, if they're going to drop a record, they'll tweet about it, and then the record will be out, There's no real thing to it. Like, if you're going to drop it. Like, with him, Playboy posts more pictures. He posts more pictures on Insta than he actually then he puts out music. He tweets more than he puts out music. Somebody said that Tekashi 6ix9ine almost faced life in prison, got out, and still put out a record before him. He's still gonna put out an album before Playboy. Cause I don't know what it is. But another thing could be the fact that a lot of his music got leaked. So really, honestly, you can't be all that mad at him, because it's like, y'all leaked the whole thing. Y'all leaked all of it. Y'all leaked all of it. And I don't really know how that works. Y'all gonna have to educate me in the comments section. I don't know if people can hack into his, I don't know how you would be able to hack into his cloud or hard drive or whatever. I personally think that it could be Playboy just releasing them himself, And another thing, I mean, maybe he's just putting out garbage, like straight trash, like so trash that I can't even visualize myself enjoying it, just to lower our expectations for a Whole Lot of Red. Because he could be doing that. Because a lot of those songs, those leaks, are peak Playboy Carti. Peak. Better than Self-Titled, better than Die Lit. Simple. Molly, Cancun, Arm and Leg, Kid Cudi. That's some heat, man. I'm sorry. That's some heat. Heat. All of them. Heat. And another thing is that a lot of people really hyped up the baby voice. And a lot of people are saying it's dumb. A lot of people are saying that. But I think when it is used right, it works. It adds to a track. It brings energy to a track. It brings a lot of energy to a track. Take somebody such as Nav, for example. Nav sounds extremely robotic on tracks. He sounds lifeless on a lot of his music. A lot of the music I've heard. Now, of course, I got to go back into his discography and solidify that claim that I have. But based off the tracks I've heard, he sounds extremely lifeless. He sounds extremely robotic. Whereas Playboy, he sounds a lot more live. And then whenever he uses the baby voice, I honestly think that the baby voice should be. I don't know if y'all watch anime. I think that the baby voice should be like Kaioken. That's what I think. I think it should. I think it just. I think it just should be a multiplier to your power level. That's what I think. I think. Hey, I think when you use the baby voice, it got to be like Kaioken. You can't be using it all the time because if Goku uses Kaioken too long, what's gonna happen? He's gonna die. His body can't take it. He can't take it. He can't take it. But in spurts, it works. You know what I'm saying? It works. So I think with the upcoming release of Whole Lotta Red, I think Whole Lotta Red, before all of this, I personally thought it had the potential to be a groundbreaking record, a record that can push some boundaries, push some boundaries. That's what I personally thought. I thought it could be a record that could push boundaries. I personally thought out of the two that Whole Lotta Red would be better than Eternal Take. And he still had the opportunity to do that because he's only dropped really 1.5 songs. He's dropped one full song, which wasn't even necessarily that bad. It's just based off the leaks, everybody's expectations were high, even mine. I will admit my expectations were kind of high. And then Pain 1993, which is probably the worst verse Playboy's ever given. The worst one. Probably his worst verse overall. Because you can't, it's unbearable. Like, I can't listen to it. Like, I can't listen to it without giving like a smirk. I can't listen to it. But I think Whole Lotta Red still has the opportunity to put out, or Playboy Carti with Whole Lotta Red still has the opportunity to put out a really good album. A really, really good album. Really good album. I personally just hope that he does not, with every single track, you use the baby voice. Like, honestly, he can use it. But like I said, he has to use it sparingly. Like, where it actually makes sense to use it. You can't be using it the entire track because we've seen that might not work. It might not work. It might be annoying because, like, with Young Thug, Thug can kind of do that. And the reason why Thug can use more of a nasally vocal tone, nasally vocal inflection, which is otherwise known as the baby voice, is because Thug can actually sing. Thug can actually hold a note. Whereas Playboy not really, can't really sing like that. Like, he can, he has an okay voice, decent voice, whereas Young Thug he can actually sing. So it works for him. He can do that for entire tracks and it will be enjoyable. Whereas Playboy, he has to use it more sparingly. But I think if he does that, Whole Lotta Red can still be a good project and a lot of his fans will forgive him. But if Whole Lotta Red is trash, I think a lot of his so-called fans and supporters will look at him a lot differently. And I think that if Whole Lotta Red is trash, I think he'll fall off, which is really sad. I think he'll fall off. And honestly, if he would have just put the record out and it just wasn't good, people would be like, oh, okay, just a little hiccup. But the fact that he's been hyping it up and being extremely, basically talking in code and tweeting out, oh, Whole Lotta Red's my favorite album, stuff like that, tweeting, being extremely just, basically being extremely coded, being mysterious, basically adding to the hype and hysteria of the album. Basically, that is putting it to a level, But if he didn't do any of that and he just dropped it and it was trash, people wouldn't even, okay, little hiccup. But because he's doing all that, he has to live up to it. And if he doesn't, I think his career could take a hit. in some capacity. It could take a hit. So tell me what you think about it, and tell me what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Hit a like if you liked. Subscribe if you liked. Hit the bell for post notifications. I have some videos around my head that I would like for you to check out. I hope you like the vinyls, man. I hope you like the vinyls, man. I had to take care of myself, I hope you like the vinyls. I got Black Swan right there, you know what I'm saying? I got Trap Soul right there. I don't know if I should get Flower Boy. I was thinking about getting Flower Boy. And I really don't know. Just, you know what? Put it in the comment section below. Oh, and tell your auntie about me if you do nothing else. So, Playboy Carti, Faygos, till next time.